Hey guys, my name's Morgan. I wanted to upload an INFJ video, the Myers-Briggs personality test today. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've watched some of the other INFJ videos on YouTube. I've always been interested in the Myers-Briggs personality test ever since high school when I took it. I took it twice in high school, and the first time I got the NFJ, but the I and the E, the introverted and extroverted feeling, were split. So I was split down the middle between an I and an E. I did it a second time and I got closer to the I, which I think is more fitting. I think I'm definitely more of an introvert than an extrovert. So I kind of just consider myself an INFJ. But I kind of just wanted to talk about some things that I see in some other INFJ videos that I find interesting and that I can, sorry, my computer's like messing up, really relate to. And one of the things that a lot of the INFJs talk about in their videos is a feeling of kind of recharging and being by yourself sometimes, and how that's very helpful to someone with this personality type. That's very interesting to me. My entire life, I've always felt the need to do that, to kind of sometimes separate myself from my family or my friends, just kind of be by myself and just kind of reflect on it. I don't even have to be doing something, honestly. I could just be doing what I'm supposed to be doing my homework, but if I'm around too many people at once, sometimes I just get drained, like irritated by, what they're doing or talking about. I just don't care. And I know it sounds so mean, but it's really how I feel. I'm trying to be honest. Like, sometimes I can be around my friends and I love my friends to death, and but I'll just be like just so uninterested, and it can literally take me 1 second. I can be interested, and like 2 minutes later they could be talking kind of about the same thing and I'll just be uninterested. I think that's another part of the INFJ personality type, is kind of your mood can change kind of quickly. I read about that a little more, and I thought that was interesting too, because I definitely notice that in myself. Sometimes I can be happy 1 second, and then I kind of have like other thoughts about other things, and I can get sad or I can get irritated easily. It's like my mood can almost change, and I don't even mean it to change. It just kind of does, and that's always kind of baffled me my entire life, that how my mood can kind of just change like that. But so we talked about recharging, we talked about the mood thing, and I think another thing that's very prevalent in INFJs is kind of the like bigger picture. Like, you're always thinking about things that are like that you're daydreaming about, and I daydream all day, every day almost sometimes. And I think that's such an interesting part of this personality type, because I know that I can just sit and be in my class and like not paying attention at all, and just start thinking about some of the most bizarre things. And I can literally look at someone, and if something reminds me of something, I can start thinking about something that reminds me of that, or I can move on to something else that reminds me of something else. And I just catch myself in these intense daydreams. What else? INFJ and conflict. I think this is also another interesting part of the personality type, because I completely identify with this part. Basically that the INFJ does not like conflict and wants to resolve conflict immediately. I would consider myself definitely in line with that. I don't like when people fight. I don't like when my friends get in arguments. I just don't like, that awkward tension. I feel like everyone should get along all the time. I just think it's so much easier, but I know that's obviously not going to happen, but I just I'm turned off by it and just don't like conflict at all, and I try my best to kind of avoid it, and sometimes that means putting my feelings on the back burner and not really talking about it, because I really just don't want it to turn into a fight. And I actually think that's one of the kind of more unhealthy parts of that INFJ personality, is that sometimes we, want to avoid conflict so much that we don't listen to our own feelings, or we don't talk about them. And being an introvert already, I think that's almost, you're not helping yourself, because I think being an introvert, you do need to talk about how you feel sometimes to other people, to your friends, your family, because it just kind of helps you get things off your chest. And for an INFJ to want to completely put themselves away from conflict is it's detrimental, I think, to growth. And every single time I've gotten into a tiff or an argument with a friend or whoever, I really push myself to try to kind of talk it out and not really run away, but not want to talk about it. I won't run away, but I'll just try to be like, oh, let's just forget it, just move on, forget it, but I think, especially as I've gotten older, I think it's gotten better for me, being in college, being around people, living with people your age all the time. I think that's definitely it helps to kind of develop those skills where you need to talk to people constantly. You have to have communication open with them. This is getting kind of long, 37 minutes. So I think that's another interesting part of the INFJ, and but the thing is, if conflict does happen, and if I get charged up enough, I can get very angry, and I think that's another part. It's kind of the extreme behavior that sometimes we have. We feel maybe an extreme 1 second, and then the next second we're okay, but if you irritate us, I think you better watch out, because I definitely hold back a lot because I don't want to kind of have that conflict. So all those feelings that I'm holding inside, if I'm that committed to the issue that's happening, I will kind of explode, and that's one thing that I'm working on personally. But in arguments, if I feel that I'm right, which the INFJ personality thing online said that a lot of INFJs think they're right all the time, and that they usually are right all the time, and I thought that was pretty interesting, and I'm sure my friends and family would love for me to tell them that, but I think we just have good judge of character, and every time I say that to someone, they look at me like, oh, you're so conceited, you think you know everything. But I'm not trying to say it in a conceited way. I honestly, every single person that I've met that I really haven't had a good vibe about, and it's purely from energy I pick up from them, and I can kind of tell the person they are literally within 2 or 3 minutes of meeting them. The way they act, I can just kind of tell. And I know that goes against the whole idea, don't judge a book by its cover, but for me, it's the whole, I judge a book by the first few pages, and if I don't like the first few pages, you're kind of, I probably won't, I won't really, not give you another chance, but I probably won't ever really be interested in wanting to talk to you, or, I'm trying to be brutally honest on this video, and I probably sound like a huge, but I don't mean to at all. I'm just trying to be honest from the INFJ point of view. And I'm sure it might be different for guys and girls, but maybe if any girls have felt this way too, but I can meet a girl especially within minutes of meeting her. I can basically tell if I'll like her or not. And I've been wrong a few times. There's been some girls that I haven't really gotten great vibes from when I first meet them. They don't seem that genuine, and genuinity, is that a word? It's a huge thing with INFJs, I think, to be a genuine person, and we can really pick up on if you're basically a good person, if you're a sincere person. And when I meet people, that's one of the first things I judge them on, is if they seem like they're real and they can actually talk to you in a real way, not be fake. Like, that is the number one thing, at least for me personally, that I cannot deal with. I can't deal with fake people. And God, this is really long. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up as soon as get these last few points out. So yeah, I think that's another thing. Like, you can meet someone if you're an INFJ and kind of almost know if you want to be their friend. I know that sounds very judgmental, but it's just something in us, I think, that you can just kind of tell. And again, not trying to sound conceited, but friends have come up to me and said, Morgan, you've always been right about these people. Like, you're always right about them. Like, friends, boyfriends, or just friends that they had that I had met and I just didn't really get a great vibe from. It happens like a month later, they don't talk to this person anymore, or they don't, they turned out to be a shitty person. And, and for the most part, the people I've met, like, I can tell you that I've usually been right about what kind of person they reveal themselves to be later. And I like that about myself. I like that I can almost trust my instincts to that extent, where I can almost, it's not even like waste time to kind of get to know someone when I kind of already know that I can just get this vibe that they're not that great of a person, or I don't think they have a lot of qualities that I value. That's another thing about INFJs, our intuition, and how we completely trust our gut instinct first out of anything. Out of reason, logic, we just trust ourselves that much. And I think that's a part of, the personality type that's very rare. And I think that's what makes us, 2 to 1% of the population, which I think is really cool. And I think that's underrated and underplayed, and I think, INFJs should be proud of that, and they should definitely listen to their instincts, because, with me, it's gotten me really good friends, and, it's gotten me to the point where I completely trust myself, and I've gotten more confident in myself because I've trusted my instincts on a lot of things. The last thing I'm going to talk about, oh wow, this is already 13 minutes long, I'm sure you guys are getting so annoyed. But the last thing I want to talk about is career choices for the INFJ. I have always been interested in helping people my entire life. I've never thought of doing something that is completely self-providing just to make money. I think that's the most selfish thing you can do. I think you should, if you want to make money, I think you should do something that, is great and that helps people, so that you can make a lot of money through. If you feel money is the most important thing. I don't, but, in this day and age, I guess it is important. But the career path that I think I want to kind of go towards is law. Now, when I looked this up online, the career choices for the INFJ, they said that kind of the most populated career field for the INFJ is like psychology, counseling, just kind of things that help people talk about themselves, mentors, mediators, people that